As you're scrolling through your images, you will begin to decide what 20 images you want to show for your 100-step exercise. We need to organize this. So on the left-hand side, we have some panels that will help us. We have our catalog information. We have all photos if you want to see all your photos. But we also have quick collection. You can highlight a photo, right-click, and say Add to Quick Collection, or B as a keyboard shortcut. So anything I want, I can add B, Quick Collection, and then I see my number over here has changed. Another thing you'll notice is that it has this circle right here that you can click as well to add into Quick Collection. So I see I have 3 now in my Quick Collection. We also have some collections within our catalog. So right here, you can create a new collection by adding the plus sign and giving a collection name. So create collection. So this can also include the images that you already have selected, or you can drop them in at a later point. So again, it has the one that I did have already selected, but if I go back to all my photographs, I also can drop them in to final images. So let's go back to all photographs and talk about rating your images. If I go back into the loop detail mode to view my images, I see I have some options down here. You can organize by rating or color coding your images. Below the image, I see a 1 through 5 star. You can rate by dragging your mouse over the stars, and in most cases, 5 stars is a strong image and 1 is a lower rated image. So this is one way you can organize. So I personally like to give 5 stars to images I know I want to keep. You also can flag to keep or deflag to reject images as well. So you can say, I flag an image, or also reject an image through this. I also have a color coding here as well. So I can go and color code as I'm scrolling through. If I want to use the color coding system, I can. If you don't see your color coding options, go to the right-hand side. There's a little setting option, and I can change different modes. So if I don't have that color labeling on, I can turn it on if I want to use it. The more images you have, the larger the project, the more this is going to be handy for you to organize. I have some quick editing options too. One is if I need to rotate my image, I have these options here where I can do that. But I also have some quick development tools here on the right-hand side. We will go over the details of developing and editing your images, but we do have some of these basic tools now. So if your white balance was wrong, you can set it here to what would be the correct. You can also choose custom and mix the temperature and tint to get the right color. But we also have these presets too that work quite well. You can make some slight changes to your exposure over and under exposing your image. Like I said before, we'll be going over in detail what these things mean in the development module. For now, these are just slight corrections that can be effective for your 100-step exercise. Also, if you want to add keywords to indicate the subject, you can do that by adding this keyword list. And also, below the keywords, you have metadata here that is with that particular image. You can see my author information preset went through, but if you did not add it at that point, you can also add it to images here as well. If we're back in thumbnail mode, One thing I have not gone over with you yet is this wonderful, cute little spray can mode. When you grab it, it gives you an option and what you can do with it. So my paint, I can choose the option here. So if I wanted to use it for rating or flagging or giving keywords, I can do that. Settings is more advanced, where you have some presets already made in your development tool, which we can do later. Or if I select it now, you can again choose those presets that Lightroom has. So if you wanted to make some images in black and white with some of these presets that Lightroom has, you can do so. But not for this exercise. We're not going to mess around with the presets too much, but you can use this for labeling as well. So if I go back to my rating, so everything I want to give a 5-star, I simply just use my little spray can and select those images, and it automatically gives it that 5-star rating. Now we're going to add our images to Flickr directly from Lightroom. No reason to export, but in case you do, you select the images you want and you choose Export. So if I go back to my Smart Collections and choose my 5-star, I can then hit Export. So highlight all of them and then hit Export. So you're going to choose the location that you want to export your images, and you can also change the file name. So I'm going to export directly to my 100 Steps folder. You can also here change the file names as well. You can give it a custom, or you can name it by sequences or dates. It shows you the example below. File settings is more important. We want it to be a JPEG, not any of these other file formats that are more advanced, and JPEG we know will open up with any program. I'm going to go ahead and set the quality higher just because I can, but if you have a limit of file size, if it needs to be a certain size, you can also check this on and tell it how large or small that you need it to be. Color space is important. sRGB is for the screen. So for Flickr options, or if you're emailing anything that you know it's going to be shown on the screen, sRGB color space is the right to choose. But if for printing, I suggest changing the color space to Adobe RGB 1998. We also have image resizing here. We can resize to fit a certain width and height. But most importantly, we have resolution. Remember, for print, we at least need 240 to 300 resolution pixels per inch. If you're doing the screen, 72 to 96 is fine for your resolution.